So obviously, you've managed to qualify for the World Championships this year. Do you think you're a lot better player now than you were back in 2004?
I'm a 100% better player. It's for the last 2 seasons I've really kind of knuckled. Sorry, just thought someone was coming in. The last 2 seasons I've really kind of knuckled down. Attitude been right, practice has been right. Been working with a coach for the first time ever. I've never worked with a coach ever, and called Mick Caddy, and he's such a good motivator, and he drills it into you that hard work, gets you everything, which I never thought did, but it's definitely the way to go forward.
So when did you start working with Mick then?
I started working with Mick about 2 years ago. Basically, I came back from a tournament in Thailand. It was a 6-red tournament, and I hadn't practiced at all for it. I probably picked my cue up the very day that I was supposed to play. Not pick my cue up at all. Played the worst snooker I've ever played. I couldn't make 16. It was absolutely it was horrendous. Lost to a couple of guys that couldn't basically hold a cue, and I just something just triggered in my brain. I've got to get some help, and I've got to sort it out. Otherwise, I'm going to be off the tour, and I won't be playing snooker. So that I was going to go and see a guy called Del Hill, who looks after a lot of the top players, and came back to Preston. Told a few people I was going to go and see him, and Mick Caddy phoned me up and said, "Just give me a chance. Let's see what we can do." So ever since then, we've been together.
Because obviously he works with Ian McCulloch as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's worked with Ian for a long time. Probably 10 years, and so he's done wonders for Ian's game. Although they don't work together very much now, but he's certainly done wonders for my game. Okay.
Yeah. So obviously your mental game has got a lot better now.
Yeah, mentally I was really weak, and now I feel a lot mentally stronger and a lot more comfortable in the final stage of the tournament now.
I mean, so obviously you then made the semi-finals of the China Open.
Yeah.
So, what happened there? I mean,
well, it was no coincidence that I started getting my head right, my attitude was right. Started working with someone who was positive, and then suddenly, all of a sudden, I reached the semi-finals. It was a result of all those things that I just mentioned. The hard work and the dedication for one season, and all of a sudden, I made a semi-final, which I felt totally comfortable at.
You weren't surprised at all that you managed to do?
No, not at all. When I beat Ali Carter in the last 16. To get to my first quarter final, I honestly, genuinely thought I could win it, because I felt so comfortable at the venue, on the TV. I felt so comfortable. The table just looked like my table, with the lighting and everything, and I was cueing great and felt great. So I wasn't surprised that I got to the semis. I was shocked that I lost 6-1 to Ebden, who eventually won it. But Peter played absolutely fantastic in that game, and he also got quite a lot of luck as well, which was massive.
Do you feel now you've turned a corner? Now you feel like you can. I mean, you're very, very close to making top 32.
Yeah. I've definitely turned a corner as a result of regarding my own belief. It's just whether I want to take it forward and or I want to go back to the same lifestyle. Whether I can get the attitude, maintain the attitude for lengthy periods, or do I slip back into the old lifestyle and not practice and think I can win without practice. So that's the big thing for me, because I had a bit of a slip up this year with 2 tournaments after the UK. Didn't practice, same old routine, didn't practice, wasn't interested, and therefore lost in both of them. So then realised that I had to get my act together, and I did, and that was what I did prior to the World Championship, and played great, felt great.
So why are you having this sort of consistency problem with applying, you know, putting the effort in?
I don't know. It's weird. Sometimes I just go through spells like that, where I just don't feel like I want to play. I'd rather do other things, you know, and I don't know. It's weird.
I'm
Can't
quite
explain.
interested in the fact that you've been writing this book now. How did this come about?
Well, good friend of mine he lives in Thailand, and I go over there quite a few times for tournaments. And we were just sitting there having dinner one night, and you know, he just said, we should write a book. And I said, well, what do you mean? What about? And he said, well, about, you know, your life as a snooker player. Not particularly an autobiography, but, you know, what goes on as a pro snooker player and things like that. And he said, because there's nothing out there that's very interesting when it comes to snooker books. It's always autobiographies or coaching manuals, and there's nothing else apart, you know, about. So we decided that, yeah, we'll start off and see how it goes, and you know, we'll always track back to my last season, and come up with stories of what happened, you know, throughout the season as well as this season, and it's going pretty well, and we've had, you know, positive feedback from it.
So who's publishing this book then?
We haven't got a publisher yet. It won't be finished until, you know, after the World Championship, maybe even June or July. But Graham, my friend in Thailand, will be sorting all that stuff out.
So what is it actually about then? 'Cause it's not a autobiography.
It's basically life as a pro. It's what goes on behind the scenes, you know, of your everyday experience as being a pro snooker player, whether it be your practice or whether it be the matches or whether it be PR activities off the table that you've got to take part in, you know, or just funny stories that have happened. And we've got a lot of stuff, you know, a lot of content, and like I say, it's not finished, but it's not finished by any means, you know. It's only in its early stages yet.
So who's it going to be aimed at? What's your sort of target market for this type of book?
Just the snooker fan in general, you know. There was a football book written in a similar style, and I can't remember the player's name, but he wasn't very famous. He was from a lower leagues team, and it was like life as a pro, as a football player, and you know, just everyday public, you know, they just wanted to read it, you know, even if they weren't particularly football fans. So, you know, hopefully it'll take off, but you know, we're not aiming to make, you know, millions out of it. It's just a bit of an interest for us, you know. And
so would we sort of getting a lot of things out in the open, or I mean, is it good for you that these, you know, to write this sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I won't disclose anything to do with myself, or you know, any little secrets that I've got about the game, because obviously you don't want to disclose that. But there's a lot of stuff, you know, that I do tell, you know, about the mental side of it and what I particularly go through, which is quite interesting for just a normal snooker.
So obviously it's good that you've qualified for the World Championships. So I suspect that.
Yeah, because there's not been a lot to write about this year, really. So you know, I didn't make it to qualify to the World Championships last year. So making it this year will be another chapter in the book.
So obviously, hopefully, the end of the book, it'll be you perhaps holding the trophy aloft.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.